Jim Barnes. I'm a Mohawk from Akwesasne. I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of lacrosse. The game of lacrosse is called Dewa Alado. That's what the Mohawk people call it. It means stick game. And the very first lacrosse game was actually played long before we were here. The creator had a game between the winged animals and the four-legged animals. And the four-legged animals comprised of bears, deers, and turtles, and each one of them had their own specific attribute. The bear was obviously for his strength, the deer for his agility, and the turtle for his durability. And the winged animals had the eagle, the hawk, and the owl. The eagle for his strength, the hawk for his speed, and the owl for his ability to see the ball in any direction. Now, when this game was played, we were told that there's a lot of different lessons that we take out of this. And one of the big lessons that we take out of it is that no matter your size, no matter your strength, no matter your speed, no matter your ability, you're able to play the game of lacrosse. And it involves everybody. So this was the very first game of lacrosse played. We as a people started it off as a medicine game. This gift was a gift from our creator, and it was a medicine game for our people. And the way it worked was we would play a game of lacrosse, and it is said that every time that we play, the creator is watching us. So when we would play a game of lacrosse, our faith keeper or medicine man would burn tobacco and speak the words that need to be spoken. Now, this game could be played for an individual, could be played for a family, or it could be played for a whole community in need. So if they needed help, a lot of times a lacrosse game would be played. Now, when these games are played, it starts off with the faith keeper speaking the words, we have a fire, and then we play the game. Once the game is finished, the faith keeper once again would burn some tobacco, speak the words that need to be spoken, and then it is finished. A lot of times when the game is played, it is the old guys versus the young guys. And this medicine game is still played today. So throughout the whole years, this medicine game is still being played up to this day. Now, obviously the game of lacrosse evolved. People started playing it more and more. We started to use it as a training tool for war. So a lot of the young men would play lacrosse because it was so rough and violent. They would use it as a training tool for war. And then as the years went on, lacrosse became more of a team sport. And it was one of the original team sports in North America, one of the first team sports in North America. And the way this would work is instead of two communities going and fighting, they would use the game of lacrosse to settle disputes. So if two communities were fighting over a piece of land, they would come together rather than going to war and killing each other. They would decide on playing a game of lacrosse. And what they would do is decide on where it would be taking place, how many players would be played. And a lot of times the game would start when the sun comes up and it would stop when the sun goes down. And a lot of times, this is when you start to hear stories of 50 people playing at a time, even 100 people playing at a time. So this was really their first team sport in North America. And a game would usually be played up to 3. And a lot of times they'll just pick 2 trees as nets. So the original game of lacrosse, the team sport started going from community versus community, kind of how most team sports are played today. And then obviously as years went on, more organizations come across, and the name lacrosse actually came from French missionaries. When French missionaries saw the first game of lacrosse, they saw the stick, and it reminded them of a bishop's staff. And when they saw the stick, they said lacrosse. So basically that's how the name lacrosse got its name, from a French missionary. But obviously we call it Dewa Alado. There's other nations that have different words for it. I know Bagadaway is one used down in the south, but the Mohawk people call it Dewa Alado. But the French missionaries were the first one that came up with the game of lacrosse. And obviously as years come on, more and more people played, rules were invented, and the wooden stick was a major part of it. And the reason why we use a wooden stick is because a tree is a living thing. And when you cut down the tree, they would first burn tobacco for the tree and give thanks for the tree. And the stick would be carved down, shaved down, and you can see it'll put a bend in it. They have what is called catgut on the side, leather. A traditional lacrosse stick would have all leather on the inside, and it would take about a year for a traditional wooden lacrosse stick to be made. It has to be bent, it has to be formed, and then it has to sit for about 6 or 7 months for it to hold its spot. And then after that, it'll be carved down to what you see right here. So the wooden lacrosse stick is a very sacred part of the game. And because a tree is living, the stick is made out of wood, and we consider it a very important part of the game. And in our culture, when a young boy is born, they would put a small wooden lacrosse stick into their crib, into their cradle, so that way they get a connection with the game of lacrosse.